Let's take a look at 20. Translate to an equation and solve it. What is 75% of 254? Now, all these problems here, I found that I can just pretty much write them as I read them. So what? Okay, so what is? Now, that we don't know. I'm going to call it x. So in number 20, I'm going to start it this way. In number 20, I'm going to say what is equals 75%, 0.75 of times 254. Okay, so I just read it and wrote what I read. What, that's the x, is the equal sign. 75%, 0.75, of is always times, and 254. Okay, so what is 75% of 254? So let's take 0.75 times 254, and I got 190.5. So when I solve this equation here, I'm getting x equals 190.5, but the answer is not x equals this. The answer is just 190.5. Going to 21. In 21, we're asked 50% of what is 15. So 50% of what is 15? I'm just going to write what I read. 50%, 0.50 of is times what, x is equals 15. All right, so now all I have to do is just divide by that 0.5. So we will get x equals 15 divided by that 0.50. And that, of course, is 30. All right, but the answer is not x equals 30. The answer is 30. And on to number 22. So 22 says 30% of what number is 187. So I'm going to write what I read. 30% of what number? Okay, of is times, so I'm going to get 0.3 or 0.30 of what number is 187. Just looks like number 22, doesn't it? So x is going to be 187 divided by 0.30. So x is going to be 187 divided by 0.30. I got 623.33 and so on. So I'm just going to write 623.3 with that bar over it to let us know that it continues on forever. And in problem number 23, $32 is what percent of $40? All right, let's just write what we read. So $32 is what percent, I don't know, x of times $40. So we can solve this. All we have to do is divide by the 40, right? The 40 is multiplying the x. So we're going to get 32 divided by 40 is x. And that gives me that x is equal to 0.8, or as, now that's a decimal, but I want to know is what percent. So this is a decimal. Change that decimal to a percent, and we will write it, right, move the decimal 2 to the right. We'll get 80%. We're given a decimal. I want to change it to a percent, so I move the decimal 2 to the right. A percent to a decimal, I go 2 to the left. Decimal to percent, I go 2 to the right. So we're getting 80%. So we're saying 32 is 80% of 40. 24. 90 is what percent of 10? Well, instead of that of, I don't know why I wrote that. Instead of, that should be a times, right? Of is times. So now I'll just divide by 10. So 90 divided by 10 is x. So that's 9 equals x. But now this is a decimal, so it's really 9 point equals x. And I got to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So that's going to give me 900%. So we are saying that 90 is 900% of 10.